Stay and you'll get something most modern Tantra accounts will never risk, a stress test. We're going to throw Vajrayāna against 2025, against surveillance capitalism, burnout schedules, algorithmized desire, and ask one indecent question. Is this a rebrand for tired minds or a real upgrade to human cognition under load? No incense, no silk, no sacred sexuality, content farm. I'm going to read the tradition-like engineering notes. What does Deity yoga actually do to predictive brains? What does mantra do to inner speech when panic is loud? Why does emptiness framing keep all that from turning into delusion with a halo? If it can't pass a workday with Slack pings, family logistics, and a 2 a.m. dread spiral, it doesn't matter how ancient the syllables are, it's cosplay. The provocation, Vajrayāna's claim, was never prettier symbols. It was latency, the promise that recognition could outrun reactivity when everything spikes. Western wellness rebranded that into candles and charisma. Real Tantra does something ruder. It cancels your favorite identity at speed and insists on governance so the power doesn't rot you. We'll expose the bait and switch pop Tantra that sells heat without ethics, map the interfaces, image, sound, posture, affect as multimodal redundancy, and lay down a verdict you can't dodge. Upgrade equals behavior that doesn't leak harm when the room tilts. If your Tantra increases mystique and reduces receipts, it's a vibe. If it reduces time to repair when you're wrong, it's Vajrayāna. Choose which hill you're willing to die on and which hallway you're willing to live in. Strip the romance. The canonical bet wasn't we have cooler gods. It was that symbolic overload, color, geometry, voice, gaze could reprogram bias faster than discursive ethics, provided everything rode on emptiness and bodhisattva intent. Generation stage. Construct a luminous scene that hijacks attention away from petty selfing. Completion. Collapse the scene into energy/space so even the beauty won't stick. Dissolution. Let even the one who practiced go dark, leaving lucid openness with no owner. The point wasn't permanent cosplay. The point was to install priors, compassion as default, clarity as baseline, and then erase the installer. Historically, the tradition scaled because it stacked modalities. People don't change from slogans, they change when many channels agree. Eyes on symbol, ears on cadence, body on posture, breath on tempo. Repeat that, and your nervous system stops believing your old autobiography. Add samaya, relational vows, and precepts, harm reduction, to keep speed from becoming abuse. Enter the modern sickness. We kept the aesthetic and dropped the constraints. Influencers export deity imagery with zero governance. Gurus sell proximity as salvation. Therapy-flavored workshops glue Tantra onto romance scripts. None of that is a bug. It's what happens when you amputate emptiness and ethics. The tool that dissolved self becomes a mirror that inflates it. Rebrand achieved, upgrade lost. Treat the deity as interface, not sky person. A well-designed figure is a vector. Visual attributes point toward qualities, precision, warmth, abundance, fearless action, space. The mantra is a timing device that preempts rumination. You can't rehearse 20 self-justifying sentences while the phonetic loop occupies the channel. Mudra, hand-body configurations, isn't theater. It's a proprioceptive lock that tells the animal system you are safe enough to stay open. The mandala is context, placing the self within a network of functions so narcissism can't pretend to be enlightenment. In systems language, you're installing multimodal redundancy so the intended state survives noise. One channel fails, two others hold. Image stabilizes attention. Mantra stabilizes pacing. Posture stabilizes arousal. Under emptiness, each is flagged like a dream, so you don't reify the means. Under bodhicitta, the target isn't your glow, it's availability, the measure of how quickly you can stop leaking pain into rooms. This is why genuine lineages insist on sequence and fit. Not every pattern suits every nervous system. Not every affect, peaceful, wrathful, should be amplified without supervision. Aesthetics without fit is cosplay. Power without fit is harm. The upgrade is not that you feel special. It's that people around you breathe easier when things go wrong. 3 modern mutations drain Vajrayāna's battery. Sex-coated Tantra. Desire language becomes a hall pass for boundary violations. Real tantric alchemy aims desire at clarity. Pop Tantra aims people at a leader. If your transmission requires ambiguity around consent and money, it's not transmission, it's grooming with incense. Trauma theater, legitimate wounds used as endless spectacle. True wrathful compassion cuts loops. Performative catharsis sells tickets to the same show next month. Charisma cults. The deity collapses into the teacher's brand. Where Samaya should protect students from misuse of speed, loyalty oaths are repackaged as salvation tech. The tell is simple. Governance, published budgets, rotating power, third-party grievance channels, clear touch/money protocols. If these are worldly concerns, run. Vajrayāna's speed magnifies everything, skill and shadow. Without rails, mantra makes you worse, faster. The genuine stream assumes human weakness and designs ops to catch it. If your Sangha's mystery begins where its transparency ends, you're not in Tantra, you're in theater. Emptiness, shunyata, isn't a mood, it's a license. Appearances don't have to glue. That license makes high-speed methods safe. When you generate a vivid deity and explicitly tag it like a rainbow, you're training the reflex not to sign contracts with beauty, fear, or power. Completion stage collapse then prevents the subtler addiction, special states. Without emptiness, deity yoga is idolatry. With emptiness, it is neuroengineering that self-erases. Modern reinterpretations often keep the poetry and drop the tag. They sell divine feminine, masculine blade, kundalini fire as things to own. The result is sticky identity, adept as brand. The original contract says the opposite. Use the image to install compassion/clarity at speed. Then eat the image so compassion/clarity don't require it. The upgrade isn't that you can summon colors. It's that in conflict, grief, and fatigue, the colors are unnecessary. The function remains. If you want a blunt metric for emptiness done right, after the glow is ordinary contact easier. If Tuesday still needs a temple to behave, emptiness never made it from your mouth to your spine. You don't need fMRI to respect Vajrayāna, but the predictive processing frame makes its claims legible. Brains guess, then update. Most suffering is bad priors defended by arousal. Deity stacks provide salient counter priors, hyperclear images, and sounds that outcompete stale selfing. Mantra reduces inner speech variance. Posture biases autonomic tone toward approach, not defense. The system updates because the cost of staying captured exceeds the cost of recognizing. Wrathful forms, done right, lift arousal without aggression. Precision heat that cuts glue. Peaceful forms lift safety without collapse. Buoyant cool that resists appeasement. Rotating them trains range. The organism stops needing the world to be soft to remain kind. None of this needs mystique. It needs intelligent parameters: dose, duration, sequence, recovery. Here's the part the lab can't bless or kill: emptiness. You can measure reactivity. You cannot instrument ownerlessness. Still, the behavioral residue is public. Fewer spikes, faster repair, cleaner speech. If those don't move, the magic was theatre. If they do, who cares whether the angels were real? The upgrade survived the sirens. Forget lineages for a moment. Judge by outputs. Latency, time from contact to non-harmful response, shrinks under stress. Repair speed. When you fail, confession, restitution, changed ops happen fast, without spectacle. Transparency. The group publishes what matters: money, power, process. Mystique never substitutes for receipts. Range. You can access warmth without leak and edge without cruelty. Despecialization. Less need for props, more competence in fluorescent light. Third party safety. Outsiders feel safer around your speed. If only insiders feel the love, you built a bubble, not a bridge. Rebrand criteria are easier: better photos, riskier flirting, invented lineages, only here claims, and we're beyond rules. That's not a crack at aesthetics. Beauty is a tool, but in an upgrade, beauty stabilizes ethics. In a rebrand, beauty distracts from their absence. If your teacher's brilliance rises with adoration and collapses under audit, you have your answer. Power that cannot survive paperwork isn't power. It's theatre lighting. Vajrayāna for modern life is not a softer logo for hungry egos. It is a hostile takeover of your predictive loops for the benefit of beings you'll never meet, where it becomes candlelit branding walk, where it becomes ops, multimodal training, riding emptiness and guarded by governance. Stay and work. The world does not need your sparkle. It needs your response time when things go sideways. So here's the line you can quote or choke on: rebrands manufacture or upgrades reduce harm. If the thing you're learning can't pass a Tuesday, if it can't keep your speech clean when you are certain you're right, or stop your hand when you're just being honest, or make repair boring and fast, you didn't find Tantra, you found a boutique. If your Vajrayāna can't survive fluorescent light, it's a costume. Set it on fire and keep the engine.